Today, we are going to talk about your confirmation checklist. This is very important. This is the criteria you need to get into a trade, so get ready. Upon finishing this video, you should have a very good understanding of the following questions. Read through them quietly to yourself. As you are taking notes, make sure to pause this video in order to answer these questions. Before you take any trade, you should have an idea of why you're taking this trade. You should know very well why you're actually entering this trade. I don't know, this might date, this video, but I'm going to go ahead and mention it. There's a show that's popular right now, especially in the US, called Shark Tank. All right. The Shark Tank, for those of you who have not seen it, is a show with a bunch of investors called sharks. These are some major investors. They got lots of money. They're billionaires and, super duper millionaires. They got a lot of money. They want to invest their money. And then you've got these bright and hopeful individuals that come into what we call the tank, the Shark Tank. All right. They come in and they pitch their ideas to these sharks, the investors. Their goal is that hopefully they get a deal. They get a shark that wants to invest in their idea and, and hopefully turn them into a millionaire down the line. All right. So why do I bring this up? I bring this example up because you need to treat your investing, your money, as though you are the shark and the market is the bright, hopeful person with the idea. You do not jump into the market. In the same way, if you've ever seen the show, in the same way that you've seen those people come on the show, they say, hello, sharks, I have this idea. Do the sharks immediately invest in them because they look nice and they have a really cute idea? No. What do? They probe them. They ask them all kinds of questions. They interrogate them. They say, what are your sales to date? How long have you been doing this? What is your projected price? What is your value? Why are you valuing yourself like that? They're asking questions. They're looking for confirmations for why they should invest with you. And based on how you answer, then they will invest or they don't. All right. You treat the market the same way. You don't just throw your money into the market. If you want to throw your money away, contact me. All right. I will make sure to give you my address. You can just send it this way. Otherwise, if you want to actually invest the right way, you need to develop a criteria of what it is going to take for you to invest. I am very certain that those sharks on that show have a very specific criteria that they are looking for before they invest in those people. You too need to create a list. I'm going to go through 4 different confirmations that you can use to probe the market, to interrogate the market, to look for the right trade setup. Now, down the line, you can change this list, but I'm going to go through some. These are not all the end all be all. These are just some tools, and they will be very helpful. What is your overall goal? To take high probability trades. Your goal should not be to not lose. I don't want to lose. Well, guess what? You are going to lose. Your goal, though, is to not lose that much, to take high probability trades. I'm going to go through this list, guys. It's not going to be necessarily, you don't have to have every single thing you see on this list, but the more you have, the better. That's what we call confluence, okay? I will say what is imperative is you need to know, is the market trending? Do you see the market trending at all? Remember, we know, back when I did a video on what is a trend, we know that we need to go with the flow, or also knowing the trend is your friend. We also know that it's best to look on higher time frames. The trend is your friend. Why is it your friend? Because if you know that it's going down, it's on a downtrend, then you know that anywhere you're looking for a long-term sell, you're going to be in a good situation. So if you're looking to get into a sell and you know this is on a downtrend, then that should already give you some confidence. That should give you confidence for your confirmation. If you're looking for a buy and it's on an uptrend, then that should give you confidence. If you're looking for a buy on a downtrend, then you are going to know that you should be looking for something that's not going to be very long term. Remember, if it's on a downtrend, you should be looking for sells. The next thing that you should be looking for is support and resistance. You absolutely, after finding out that, okay, this is trending or the market is is moving, then you should be looking for your support and resistance. Again, you don't have to trade a trending market. If you really like to trade ranging, go for it. But you definitely want to look for support and resistance. This is an absolute must-have. Look for support and resistance areas. Find those. Mark them up on your chart. If you don't remember how to do that, go back and check out the video that talks about support and resistance, or visit me on Forex 101. I will be conducting live sessions. The next thing you should be looking for to add to your confirmation checklist is to see what is price action doing. Go back and check out my video on price action. If you have not watched that, watch that first before you look at this confirmation checklist. All right. So remember, wicks tell you a lot about the decisions being made in the background. All right. They let you know that price may want to reverse, or they may want to move in a certain direction. And you'll get all this by checking out that video on price action. All right. When you see, here's the thing that makes the confirmation sweet. When you see this stuff happening all together, they're more powerful together. It doesn't matter if you see wicks somewhere around, somewhere floating in the middle. But when you start to see wicks in areas of resistance or in support or previous resistance or previous support, that is now what you call confluence, meaning you have multiple things that are showing you that possibly the market wants to move. So if you have, let's say, support and resistance, and then you've got wicks in that same area showing you that price is exhausted, it doesn't want to move up anymore, then that should get you ready for looking for possibly a sell. Okay, hopefully that's making some sense to you. Remember, you want to look for wicks in major reversal areas because they are a sign that price wants to go a different direction. Another criteria that I look for is consolidation. We talked about consolidation in the past. Remember, consolidation is that sideways movement. Usually it's a trader's worst nightmare, but when you're using it in conjunction with everything else, it can actually be your best friend. Why? Because it is the market pausing. When the market comes to a pause, then we need to come to a pause and we need to see what's actually happening. When you see the market moving in a direction with a lot of momentum, but then it stops and it starts to pause, that's actually a good sign, because that could be an indicator that the market either wants to turn around or maybe it wants to go up higher, or depending on which direction, lower. Nonetheless, it allows you the opportunity to start to get a strategy in place. So consolidation is very good, especially when you see it in conjunction with support and resistance areas, also known as major reversal areas. It's good when you see wicks happening along the same time. These are all nice indicators that the market wants to turn around. The trend line is another excellent tool to use on our criterion list because, remember, we talked about it in the past. Trend lines are diagonal support and resistance. So in the same way that we see and we use support and resistance, trend lines also give us some good information about what the market wants to do. We want to see the market respecting the trend line. And in the event that it is not respecting the trend line, that tells us something. We want to get into position for if then. Here's another one, pretty much a no-brainer. You want to look for signs that the market wants to go in the direction you think. If you see that, okay, price is at support and resistance, hey, there's been wicks in the past, but currently there's a nice fat candle that's showing no wicks at all, which really means that it's showing that price probably wants to continue in the direction that it's going, which is not the direction that I want it to go, that's not a time to get in. But if you see that, okay, price is going in this direction, and it looks like it's struggling, like the candles are getting smaller, the wicks are getting longer, there's consolidation happening, and I see that price is starting to fall just like I want it to. Okay, there you go. No brainer. You want to get in when the market looks like it's doing what you want to do. It doesn't have to be that complicated, guys. Something else that you definitely want to add to your list that will totally limit you taking terrible trades and increase the higher probability of your trades. You want to look for a retest. What is a retest? Basically, a retest is, let's say, you draw, if you look at this picture, you draw support and resistance lines. Price breaks through it. Let's say price just bulldozes right on through your support line, goes completely underneath it. Now, most people would oh God, I missed the move. Oh shucks, I missed it. Or they might try to chase the trade. They might try to hurry up and try to get in that trade. And then what ends up happening? Let's say price broke through and is going down and you feel like, oh no, I missed it. And then you try to get in and what happens? It goes up. Well, what's happening is it has to come, it's retesting that line, meaning price is trying to go back up above it. It was above it before, it fell down. It wants to go back above it. If price goes down and then comes back up like you see in this picture and tests the line and then continues to fall, good time to get in. Now in this picture, you see price has retested this support line, this resistance line 3 different times. That shows it's a strong line. That is a good area to get in, okay? The more you see retest, the better. You don't want to make this part of your routine. Don't take a trade unless it retests. Who cares if it busts through the line? If it busts through the line and just keeps on moving, miss that money. But if it busts through the line, comes back up, and then falls, get in. Then you have something else called, remember, we talked about pullbacks. Pullback is not necessarily a confirmation checklist, though you can add it to your list as something that you do. Some people specifically just trade pullbacks. I'm getting in only when I see a pullback. Now, in the event that you missed that first order, meaning that you saw, okay, price is at the support resistance. There was a lot of wicks. There is consolidation happening in this area. Price did retest it, but I missed it. Okay, that's fine. If you missed the retest, wait for the pullback. Why can you confidently wait for that pullback? Because remember, first order, make sure that you're in a trending market. If you're in a downtrend, it's in a support resistance area. You see wicks. You see that there was a retest, but doggone it, you fell asleep and you missed it. Well, shoot, look at that. There's a pullback. I'm getting in on that. All right. So you see here in this picture, we talked about pullbacks in the past. Here's another example of how you can use a pullback for your confirmation checklist. At the end of the day, you guys, nobody has a crystal ball. Well, maybe some of you do, but if it works, let us know. Most of us don't have a working crystal ball. We cannot predict the market. So you need to act like a responder. You are the shark. You don't get to predict if the trade you picked is going to pay off well, but you definitely better screen the mess out of any trade that you get into. Make sure that whatever trade you get into, it follows whatever criteria that you set. By now, you should have a good understanding of the following questions. Read them quietly to yourself, and when you are finished,